Good morning, sequestered mystics, and welcome to another chapter or installment of the Chicken Qabalah of Rabbi Lon and Ben Clifford. Hope you had a good night's sleep. We are on the chapter that's the four Kabbalistic worlds and the four parts of the soul. But we're right in the middle of the rabbi's unreleased documentary, Let's Learn Chicken Qabalah. And just quickly review, in the documentary, we've gone to the first floor of a 4-story building where all the chairs in the universe are sitting. And we got in an elevator and we went one floor up to see where those chairs actually came from. And we went to the next higher level, or the Vav level, and the world of Yetzirah, and we saw that there's no chairs there, but there's all the blueprints for those chairs, and that floor is filled with angels, nerd angels that designed every one of those chairs in their minds that appear at that on the first floor as actual chairs. Now, we want to know where those nerd angels get their directions. And so we got in an elevator and we went up to, we pushed the button that said 3rd floor, and that's where we're going now. That's the Hey of Yod He Vav He, if you followed that. Okay, it's scene 5. The location is the interior of the elevator. And from inside the elevator, the rabbi pushes the button marked floor 3, Hey, Bria. Now, it's probably pronounced Bria, but we're chicken Kabbalists and we don't care. And I think the rabbi always called it Bria, and then he'd say the world of soft cheeses. Scene 6. The location is the shower stall of Thomas Edison's bathroom. The room is very steamy. A subtitle appears on the screen. Thomas Edison's bathroom, 1877. We hear the sound of running water and the voice of Thomas Edison singing, "You light up my life." The rabbi, in a hushed voice, now narrates. The person in the shower isn't really Thomas Edison. Actually, he's an angel, a very high angel, really. For our purpose, we can even call him an archangel. The reason we find him in the likeness of Edison and taking a nice shower in the great inventor's bathroom is to help us illustrate something about this Kabbalistic world, the world of Bria, the creative world. Now, Edison didn't invent the chair, but he did invent or improve upon an unbelievable number of things that brought revolutionary change to the world. The light bulb, the phonograph, the motion pictures, to name a few. There's no doubt about it, the man was a genius. But we might ask, how could one man possibly invent all those things? Where did he get the time? Let's watch for a few moments. Suddenly the singing stops. The water is turned off. Silence. Then Edison shouts, "Yes!" Edison opens the door to the shower stall and steps out in a cloud of steam. He dances nakedly before a large steamed-over mirror in front of the sink. Edison: "Yes, yes, yes, they'll love it. They'll absolutely love it. We'll make millions, millions. Mary, send for Clifford, my chief engineer. Get him in here right now." The rabbi continues his narration. Actually, we don't know if Clifford was the name of Edison's chief engineer. For our purpose, it really doesn't matter, so I named him after my father. Edison's chief engineer timidly enters the bathroom. He's wearing the exact same outfit as the nerd angels in Yetzirah. Edison goes to the steamed-over mirror and begins to draw on the mirror with his finger. Clifford, I've invented a machine that can record and play back sounds, voices, music, body noises, anything. Edison outlines a crude cylinder on the mirror. His fingers makes a squeaking sound as it rubs the glass. Hear that? You know how things make a sound when you rub them together or scratch them? Well, we make a rubby, scratchy thing out of a rotating cylinder or something, see? And then you connect it to something else. I don't know what, something that when we somehow hook it up to that telephone diagram we made, see? And then somehow, telephone diaphragm, excuse me, telephone diaphragm we made, see? And then somehow you get the rubby vibrations to scratch up a rubby, scratchy thing. Then all we have to do is figure out how to rub those scratches with something else. Then maybe run a scratchy vibration along to another diaphragm or something, so we can replay the same kind of noise that made the scratches on the rubby thing in the first place. See? Clifford scratches his head. Edison, then you'll love this. Edison draws a large cone on the mirror. Then you get the scratchy sounds to go in the small end of a cone, see? Then when it comes out, the big end is really loud, see? Hushed voice. Here's the rabbi speaking. Let's just take a look at that mirror. All we see is a crude cylinder, two squiggly lines, and something that looks like a box and a cone resting on its side with an arrow pointing at the large end, and the words, big noise comes out here. And there's an illustration of it, which I will happily share with you. Clifford stares blankly at the mirror. Hey, I want to tell you, if you've ever seen Edison's early drawings of the phonograph, they look just exactly like that. I just added that. That's okay. Edison, I call it a phonograph. Run along now and tidy up the details. I want to see a working model by the weekend. I'm going fishing with Henry Ford and Wilbur Wright. There's a good fellow. The rabbi continues. Now, I'm not sure that's exactly what happened when the phonograph was invented, but generally speaking, this is just how Edison operated. Very often he would come up with the very vaguest of ideas, scribble down a crude drawing and a few notes, and then run it over to a team of well-paid, highly motivated assistants. These angels would then bring Edison's concept to life by painstakingly inventing all the little devices that would make Edison's inspired big machine work. Edison's ideas are angelic inspirations. They came from the creative world of Braya. His assistants, the angelic executors of the angelic will were workers in the formative world of Yetzirah, who eventually manifested the inventions on a material plane in Asaya, or the first floor. Or more simply, everything in the material world exists at a pattern in the formative world that has its motivation for being in the creative world. But what about that? In the highest Kabbalistic world, at Zilith, the world of Yod. So down there was the world of chairs, then the world of chairs, then the world of chair designers, then the Thomas Edison of chairs, and now we're going to get in the elevator and go from 3 to the top floor. Scene 7, interior of elevator. From inside the elevator, the rabbi pushes the button marked floor 4, Yod, at Zilith. Scene number 8, location. Cloud-filled, formless void of swirling light and mists. Location. From inside the elevator, the rabbi stays inside the elevator and holds the door open as the camera enters the mist. Ambient music is playing. Within the music, we hear the faintest sounds of a man and a woman in unison, making sensuous love sighs. The light pulsates erotically against the undulating clouds, giving the abstract appearance of a man and a woman locked in a writhing embrace. The rabbi's voice hushed. This is at Zilith, the archetypal world. At-Zilith could be considered the will of deity in its purest aspect. It's the highest, most perfect of the 4 worlds. In At-Zilith, there is no separation of male and female aspects of deity. They are eternally united in bliss. The remaining 3 worlds are the products of this ecstatic union, and as we have seen, continue to diminish in purity as we descend into the lower levels. But luckily for us, what looks like degenerating energy from the deity's point of view looks like creation itself to us pitiful creatures rooting around down here on the first floor. The rabbi continues, but he whispers, remember, we are standing 4 floors directly above that lovely lounge chair in the chair section of the first floor. Let's see what deity has on its mind. The music lowers, and voices can be heard clearly. Voices never speaking separately, but always say their lines in perfect unison. The deity, male and female aspects locked in an ecstatic embrace. Ah, was that good for us? Ooh, yes. It's always and eternally good for us. But we're a bit tired now, aren't we? Wouldn't we like to rest now? Oh, yes. Oh, for a moment to pause. Even ecstasy is boring if it never stops. The rabbi continues his narrative. Well, things are pretty vaporous in the archetypal world. Up here in At-Zilith, There are no forms or images, just pure conscious energy, a dynamo of bliss. But it sounds like even this dynamo needs to kick back and relax on occasion, if only to experience within itself the pulse of an expanding and contracting creation cycle. Of course, in other sections of this floor, the deity is germinating other nebulous desires that will eventually manifest on the first floor in Asaya, as absolutely everything else in the phenomenal universe. But right here at Zilith, 3 levels up above the chairs in the material world, the vague desire for rest is unique to this particular section of deity's consciousness. Oh, listen, I think a divine impulse from the Atzilic deity is about to inspire the Thomas Edison Archangel of Chairs on the first floor, 1 floor down in Braya. Voices rise in ecstatic crescendo. Yes, rest. Yes, rest. Yes, rest. Rest, rest, rest. Cut to scene 9, location Thomas Edison's bathroom. Edison looks at himself in the mirror and heaves a heavy sigh, squats and attempts to sit where there is nothing to sit upon, and tumbles to the floor. Strains of celestial music are heard. For a moment, a great light appears above Edison's head. He looks up and becomes inspired with the universal concept of rest. He then realizes the immediate need for a device to sit upon. He shouts, "Clifford, get in here!" The archangelic intelligence of Bria then communicates a broad general concept of seating devices to the detailed loving angel nerds in Yetzirah. Cut to scene 10, blueprint room. Clifford hurriedly distributes memos to the excited nerd angels. Much juvenile squealing and wildly irritating laughter is heard. Cut to scene 11, furniture warehouse showroom. The rabbi is back, seated comfortably in an easy chair. Who finally manages to inspire someone down here in Asaya to quit daydreaming about things and get off their rear ends and actually construct a chair of his or her dreams. From his easy chair, the rabbi uses a pointer to indicate the Hebrew letters on a nearby blackboard. Yod He Vav He is a 4-fold creative process. It is the formula by which the pure consciousness of deity, Yod, descends into matter, He final. From our point of view, down here in Asaya, it appears like the wonder of creation. You might think that from the deity's point of view, this creative process appears to be a depressing degeneration of energy and power. But I don't think that's the case. Remember the 3rd commandment. There really isn't a creation, time or space, heaven or earth, because the ultimate reality rests not in Asaya or Yetzirah or Braya, but right here in Yodland. At Zilith, the environment of pure and infinite consciousness, infinite bliss, and the other worlds are as unreal as your shadow. The rabbi pulls 3 pairs of sunglasses out of his pocket and puts them on, one over the other. Asaya is like looking at the sun with 3 pairs of sunglasses. The material world is just the heaviest, slowest, grossest aspect of the divine light. He takes off 1 pair of sunglasses. We see more in Yetzirah. He takes off another pair of sunglasses. And in Bria, it's much brighter, but he takes off the last pair of sunglasses. But those 3 worlds are just a distorted image of the real thing. The rabbi rests back in an easy chair and closes his eyes. The camera slowly zooms in on his peaceful face as he falls asleep in the easy chair. An extreme close-up image blurs completely, then refocuses on the rabbi's face, and then pulls back to reveal the rabbi's dead body laying on its back on a dissection table in a morgue. Segue to Kabbalistic autopsy sketch. And that's where we'll pick up tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed this and are enjoying your chicken Qabalah. Continue to be safe, everyone. Be good to yourself. And I really mean that. You can't be good to anybody else unless you're good to yourself first. Treat yourself. Be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. Goodbye.